Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in, Winning Cures Everything. It is the Monday, April 11th edition of the show. I'm Gary.
No, Chris.
And Chris, let me go ahead and tell you, this is episode number 951. So we are almost to 1,000 episodes. And
there you go.
And check this out. We are the number 4 football podcast and the number 42 overall sports podcast in Uzbekistan.
Nice.
Hey, we're charting somewhere, my friend.
So who is number 3 in Uzbekistan?
Oh, I have no idea.
We need to know that. We're coming for him.
We're gunning for him. It's got to be somebody big, right? Well, maybe not. I don't know. Hell, I don't know how we got to 4. Like, I looked back. Apparently, we've been top 10 there for months on end at this point.
Listen, I'm huge in Uzbekistan. Literally. I bet I'm bigger than everybody there.
We are huge in Uzbekistan. No, I love it. I love it. We are 49 episodes away from hitting 1,000, and that is no small feat because we've been staying at this thing. It's not like we do it every day, although we did for
grinding, consistency. We did it every day for a while.
During the pandemic, it was the only thing that kept me and you sane, I think. That's the way I look at it.
There was one year we were doing, during football season, 8 shows a week.
Oh, yeah. That's
between the 2 different platforms.
Yeah, that was the SBR days. Yeah, that was like 20. It was only 2020, so it wasn't that long ago. But we were doing 8 shows.
It was a lot. 8 shows a week.
Whew.
That's a lot. That was a lot. That was almost 20.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. It was quite a bit, and we were trying to cover a little bit too much. But hey, you know what? This past year, I was still doing 5. You know, so we're still rocking and rolling, doing what we got to do. The fact of the day I want to start off with. You saw last week that Will Smith is banned from the Oscars for 10 years, right?
Okay.
When he gets to go back to the Oscars, Notre Dame will still be paying Charlie Weiss. He's
well, hang on now. That's a funny thing to laugh at, but that's just like
it's Bobby Bonilla.
This is Bobby Bonilla in a contract. That's saying, look, you owe me $40-something million. Look, give me $1 million a year for 40 years, and I'll never be broke. That's all. It's not like they're paying out any more money today than Auburn or Arkansas or any of these other people, LSU, that are paying out 2 and 3 coaches at one time. So.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. But it is college football's version of Bobby Bonilla. They spread that payment out for as long as they could possibly spread it out. Charlie Weiss still collecting checks from the Fighting Irish. Nicole Auerbach is the one that tweeted that out, and I found it awesome. I just thought it was great. Like, he'll still be collecting paychecks. The Masters. Let's talk about the Masters right quick. Scotty Scheffler, I believe was the name. I never actually turned the audio on.
That's his name. Scotty
okay,
Scheffler.
Good. Making sure I pronounced it right. 10 under, incredibly likable guy. Everything that I heard from him afterwards and even before appears to be awesome. The youngest to ever win his first tournament, and then, the shortest amount of time to win the Masters after winning his first tournament, because he won his first tournament this year. I mean, it's not.
He won his first tournament like 2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Never won a tournament in his life, and 2 months later, he's the number 1 in the world.
Yeah, he is rocking and rolling right now. He was 9 under after day 2, and only had to shoot a 1 under for the rest of the tournament, the last 2 rounds, in order to.
Well, I mean, he didn't even have to shoot that.
Yeah. No. It's the only thing that got close to him, and Cam Smith kind of fell apart there at the end. But Rory McIlroy. I did have this note down. Is there anybody that you would want to bet on to win a round than Rory McIlroy when he is already out of something? Like when there's no chance of him coming back and actually winning. Is there any other golfer that you would actually bet on at that point? Like, he does this all the time.
He does this all the time, where he'll have a terrible Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, something like that. He'll make a cut but he'll be completely out of it, and then he'll have the best Sunday anybody's had.
He shot a 64.
He's a great guy to listen. That's a trend that we should follow on betting single round, guys for days.
Yeah.
And when Rory's out of these majors, we need to bet on it on Sunday.
Yeah, no, you're 100%
the best
right.
Sunday of his life.
It was a record-tying score. He shot a 64. Yeah. I mean, just unbelievable. But yeah, so Scotty Scheffler, he is, even though he's number one and he has been absolutely rocking for the last however many months, he is still not the favorite for the PGA Championship. That goes to Jon Rahm, who will be the favorite leading into that one. The Masters has now had 10 winners in the last 10 years. When I was watching the ceremony after everything was done and after Scheffler makes the walk up, etc., it feels like, because it's the first major of the year, it feels like you were watching a star be born every time, because everybody that has won the Masters ends up being a pretty big golf star. Is that kind of the way that you see it? Like when you watch these things?
Well, I mean, it's a big deal, and it's a really hard course to win. So, I mean, to an extent, but the fact that they haven't won again, says, they're a star in the grand scheme of things, but they're not, they're not taking, I think the days of taking golf by storm are just done.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason being is, and when I'm talking about winning, rolling off, multiple majors over and over and over and over and over again. And it's just because the fields are just too good. Every one of these guys are younger or better than they've ever been before yesterday. And it's just every day that goes on, these guys are better and better and better.
Oh, yeah. Over the last 10 years, we've had Scotty Scheffler now. Hideki Matsuyama got it last year. Dustin Johnson, he was already a famous golfer. Tiger Woods, of course, for his fifth. Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia got his first in 2017. Danny Willett in 2016. Jordan Spieth in 2015. Bubba Watson got his second in 2014, and then Adam Scott in 2013. Bubba Watson won it twice in 3 years, if you remember that, 2012 and then 2014. Yeah. But yeah, since 2013, we've had a different one every year, and every time one of these, kind of newer guys wins this thing, it's like welcome to the party, right? It's just a whole different feeling. What's crazy? I didn't miss Phil Mickelson at all during the Masters. Like, I kind of thought at some point.
But you can't miss anybody at the Masters.
Yeah, I think
because
you're
you
right.
Don't care about who's not there.
Yeah. There's so many big names. You're watching so many things. And then the Tiger Woods story just kind of overtook everything until middle of the round on Saturday, when you realized, oh, okay, he is not going to be in contention. So we can focus on these other guys now. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to watch over the weekend. It was a lot of fun to watch Tiger, busting through. I'll tell you this, was it Pete Thamel or Ross Dellinger that had, I think it was Ross, that had a really good story at SI. And it was basically talking about everybody, when you get older, you are beaten down and tired, and you're walking with a limp, and you're just trying to make it through the day, right? And that's what we saw out of Tiger Woods on Saturday and Sunday, especially on Sunday, because, he was starting to walk with a limp a little bit. You could kind of tell he was just trying to get through it. And it was really inspiring and encouraging, at least to me. The way that I saw it was, he's not going to quit. He's going to go out and he's going to finish this thing up and do the best that he can. And no, it wasn't great. It wasn't a great score. I think he shot a 78 both days, on Saturday and Sunday. But still, he's out there doing this thing after all the stuff that we talked about on Friday. I thoroughly enjoyed it for a lot of different reasons than I thought I would. Is that kind of what you took away from this?
Well, I can't speak to that because I don't know what any of those reasons are. I know why I liked it. I enjoyed it because you're seeing somebody do something. All right, we've watched him compete at golf our entire life almost, okay? And definitely our entire adult life. At an insane level. Talked about on Friday how this was a man that was so competitive that he has stormed off of courses like MFing second place finishes. Okay, and when I saw him walk off that final, walk, he was laboring. You could tell he was in pain. He had a limp to him, and he had this huge smile that just looked like a man who was just A, really proud of himself, and B, just happy. And I thought that's what we're all striving for. Tiger Woods made $1 billion between, that day and when he became famous. Tiger Woods was married to one of the most beautiful women in the world. Tiger Woods nailed any woman he could for a decade. None of it put a smile on his face like that. Nothing. And just playing two of the worst frames in his life at Augusta, and he walked off and he still had this smile, and he still had this peace, and he still had this happiness. And I just thought, it's that smile walking off the course that did it for me. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to see him grimace. I didn't want to see him in pain. I knew he was hurting, but I also knew he was happy. I know what that feels like. Like, I don't know what that kind of smile feels like. But, like, I felt joy and had a smile on my face while also, like, being in pretty considerable pain. Like, it's just a different thing. And that's why I love it.
No, I feel the exact same way. The exact same way. That's and it's nothing similar, but when we've had a rough day at work or whatever, you get home, you pop a beer, you just you finally get to sit down and enjoy a couple of minutes of peace. That's what it felt like Tiger was doing when he walked off the course, right? It's like, I've made it through all of this, and I'm still here. And I'm still doing this thing. And it's Augusta. It's beautiful. It's serene. Everything, you know how it is. I mean, it's symbolic. All of it is. But it was great. It was absolutely great to see it because it had nothing to do with the scores that he put up. It was just you were watching a guy get through some trials and come out on top, even if the score didn't say that he came out on top. I thought it was fascinating and really, really fun to watch on Saturday and Sunday. I do want to bring up, of course, that this is a little more somber. Dwayne Haskins passed away on Saturday morning, and he died in South Florida. He was hit by a dump truck, which is one of the weirdest things. He was walking on a South Florida highway. I haven't seen a whole lot else.
He was crossing the highway, trying to walking, I guess, towards oncoming traffic, or I don't know. Nobody knows what he was doing out there.
Yeah.
There was some reports that maybe he had ran out of gas, and he was, I don't know.
It's awful, weird and
tragic.
Sad. Yeah. But more so than that, the Adam Schefter tweet, this guy is a real piece of work. It's not that I care anything about Dwayne Haskins, right? This isn't something that really affected me. It's just there are certain ways to go about this. And Gil Brandt, we can say the same thing about him because, my gosh, the stuff that he was saying afterwards about Haskins being a guy that was living to die, like the way that he lived his life, like you knew it wouldn't last long. I just feel like there's a time and a place, right? Like at some point, yeah, you could maybe discuss these. If you're Adam Schefter, yeah, maybe you bring up the fact that he did not exactly excel at being an NFL player. You can bring that up at some point down the road. But when you are announcing, breaking the news that he has passed, why on earth would you put any of that negative stuff about him in the release? In the tweet or whatever? I just don't understand. And Shefty's done this a lot.
Yeah.
And
he's just an asshole.
I don't understand.
Well, look, Gary, I keep saying this all the time. And nobody, until it happens to you or until you hear me point it out in a specific way, we just assume, oh, he's a little guy. He's a nerd. Whatever. So he can't be a prick? No, he's just a prick. He's self-absolved. He cares about Schefter, all right? He's making $10 million a year, and he doesn't care at all what he tweets, how it affects anybody else. He's going to do what he wants to do, okay? Because he's Adam Schefter, damn it.
It's very frustrating. That was the first thing that I noticed.
I've been early money on this guy being a prick and worthless for a long time. Okay, for a long time, and it's little things that tell time. So, like, you think it might sound a bit overblown that I'm killing the guy for like this situation here, but it's the little things that you do. His entire career, early on, he was made by breaking these big stories. All right, and now today he probably has enough league sources to where he's getting this stuff firsthand. But back in the day, he didn't. He got local beat writers that fed him information because they were the ones connected in these locker rooms. All right? And not one time in his entire career has he ever tagged one of them in a tweet, giving them credit. Not one time has he ever sourced per whatever. Ever. He doesn't do it because he's all about Adam. He don't give a shit about them. When that's your mentality about little things, like getting a piece of information and just throwing the person that gave you that information credit, followers has 10,000 in his local, and if you quoted him, then that's going to make that guy's year. Not just make his year, but he's going to go from 10,000 to 200,000 followers. And now you might have made him some money too. So all you have to do is give him credit for giving you the information. But he doesn't. He refuses to do it.
Yeah. It's pretty, and now, I mean, he did tell where he got the information on this, but that was because it came directly from the agent.
Hang on. Lately, the last couple of years he's done it, every reporter he's tagged has been an ESPN reporter.
Well, in this case, it wasn't a report; it was just the agent. You know.
Okay. I'm just telling you because I've seen him starting to do it the last couple of years, and all the people he does it with are other ESPN insiders.
Oh yeah, no. You and I've talked about this. Like, if Ian
Rappaport breaks something, he ain't tagging Ian on it.
No, of course not.
You can bet your sweet ass he's not doing that.
No, and he's not going to retweet anything that Ian does or anything like that.
Or any of the other great sports writers out there that cover the NFL.
It's a pain.
If they're under the shield of the NFL or of ESPN, then he has now started throwing them a bone. But I've been early money on Adam, and the only way to get him out of this is people got to stop giving him information. Like, you can get mad that Adam's so careless with this stuff all you want. Listen, the league sources are the ones that give him information. Go to that locker room and tell everybody, cut his skinny ass off.
Yeah, they absolutely could if they wanted to. So, but it doesn't feel like they really want to.
Because he's not responsible with it.
No, of course not. Like, I don't know how, I don't know what they can do at this point to clean him up a little bit. But I know that it pissed off.
ESPN ain't going to do anything.
Well, I'll tell you this. If enough people complain to ESPN, maybe they will, because this really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I mean, just a ton of them.
I'm telling you, the people that rubbed the wrong way were other players in the league. And those players need to go to their front offices. They need to go to all the people in their locker rooms and say, cut that little bitch off.
Yeah. Back to Dwayne Haskins. Ohio State is going to honor him at their spring game on Saturday.
Good. They should do something in the regular season when it comes time to, because he was a great player at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of his success or not in the NFL, he was a great player in college.
Ryan Day basically said that if it were not for Haskins having that record-breaking year in 2018, like, he would not be the coach. Like, and I don't think he's wrong.
There's no doubt. Well, he's not wrong. Because if Ryan Day in that interim year or whatever, where he takes gets all those shots when Urban's out, if Ryan doesn't have the success that he has, then Ryan absolutely is not the job. Gets the job.
No, you have got that right. He set Big Ten records for passing yards with 4,831 touchdown passes. He had 50, and total offensive yards. He had 4,939. He was
made a lot of careers there.
Oh yeah,
and you know, listen, you can. I quibble with the fact that, like, people crush a guy because, you know, he likes to party and whatever. So I have no idea what led to him dying. Forget about the day that he died. Okay,
yeah.
Let's address the way that he lived. All right, Like, it might not be for you, but him not being great at football and maybe not loving football to a point where he's willing to sacrifice everything. I mean, Tom Brady doesn't eat strawberries because he wants to be better at football. Okay, that like not having that sacrifice, it's not a sin. All right, it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, and let's say while he was at Washington, he really loved strip clubs and all this stuff. That in itself is listen, we're not the moral police here, okay? Your morals don't line up with him. All right? He's not hurting anybody. He's not doing anything illegal or ugly. If you clutch pearls, that's because it's something that you don't agree with personally. But you can't criticize him for how he lived his life. It didn't seem like he was on a bunch of drugs or anything like that. He just liked to party. And if he's got the money and he's not hurting anybody, then damn, leave him alone.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. He wanted to play at Ohio State from the time that he was like 11 years old, apparently.
Yep.
And
the picture of him walking around the locker room is incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
It really is. It really is. So I'll be curious what they're going to end up doing. CJ Stroud has been wearing the number 7 in practice. So we'll see, what exactly goes on from there. But just heartbreaking stuff. I mean, it's just absolutely tragic. And, again, you always hate to see it. But this one, it felt like he was kind of making some headway in Pittsburgh in the quarterback room a little bit. Who knows? Like, it felt like he was kind of getting things back together. And to have this happen, I mean, it's just, he was down there in South Florida training with other Steelers players. And how that ended up happening, I have no idea. No idea. But you do absolutely hate to see it. And, thoughts and prayers with the Buckeye Nation and his family and all of that good stuff. The Lakers, we don't talk a lot of NBA on the show, but they fired Frank Vogel. And this was something that, we could probably see coming from a mile away. But with this, and I don't know who is calling me right now, but I'm going to send them to voicemail. So this whole Frank Vogel situation has, of course, shined another light on LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook and the GM and everybody else, right? Do you think that Vogel was the biggest problem in LA? Because I don't.
No, it's not even close. It's not even close. But it's never going to be the coach's fault. When you have a roster like that and you have guys like that, it's never going to be the coach. It's never going to be the coach.
I don't know who they, like, it doesn't matter who they bring in. One, if you don't get all of these guys healthy for the majority of a season, it's not going to matter. But I don't think health is the biggest issue here. We have seen the teams that Russell Westbrook has played for and what they look like when he has to have the ball in his hands, which he does to operate. Like, that's just how he plays. I don't know that you are going to be able to do anything if you still got Russell Westbrook on this roster. Rob Pelinka has talked, LeBron obviously talked up Russ quite a bit, but Pelinka, the GM, basically was like, look, we're going to do whatever we can to make this roster better. And he didn't rule out really anything. So they went 33 and 49. Like, how you do that with those three guys on the roster, the only way that you do that is, one, they're not healthy for the majority of the time, and two, LeBron's getting old, man. Like, I know everybody's always amazed at the stuff that he can do, and he was the scoring champ this year, or one of, or got close to it. But regardless, like, I just don't feel like I don't think these Lakers are great. I don't think they're great. I'll say that. So,
well, they're not great. Nothing you're saying right now is new to anybody. They didn't win games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, it's just it's frustrating to see this because I thought Frank Vogel was a pretty good coach. Obviously,
he is a good coach.
Yeah, the record obviously did not bear it out in LA, but he did win a championship with them.
So this is going to sound probably more harsh than it should. You can't be a great coach and coach LeBron James. You just can't. LeBron do what he wants to do.
Yeah,
he's going to do what's best for him every time.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
So all of these other things just don't matter. To say the guy's uncoachable sounds really, really harsh, but he runs everything he wants to do. You know, there's nothing you want to do that they're going to do. If Frank wanted to run something and LeBron didn't agree with it, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let me go ahead and knock out the reads right quick. The website, winningcureseverything.com. It's got everything that you need to know about us over there. I will have an article up sometime on Tuesday. I'm going back through the 2021 college football season, and we might talk about this on Thursday, but I have gone through and found the teams that were better than their record and the teams that were worse than their record, and there is some surprising stuff in there. So I'll talk to you about this, and then we'll probably hit it on the show on Thursday. But that ad will be up, not ad, that post, that article will be up over at winningcureseverything.com on Tuesday. The podcast, make sure that you are subscribed anywhere that you can subscribe. That is Spotify, Apple, etc. Leave a nice 5-star written review. We would certainly appreciate that. YouTube, the numbers are doing well. Please continue to subscribe over there if you have not already. And jump into the comments. Make sure and like the video if you've not already. And share it out. Tell your friends about it. You can always follow us on Twitter. I'm at GaryWCE. Chris is at Chris B. Giannini. And the show is at Winning Cures. You can DM us. You can reply to us. You can retweet. You can do whatever. Send us whatever you want to. We may talk about it on the show. Who knows? And you can also find me over at BetUSTV.com doing a bunch of how-to sports gambling videos, a bunch of different interviewees and whatnot on there. So go ahead and dive over to BetUSTV.com. Along with that, went through, our numbers are growing right now in Biloxi, Mississippi, in Gadsden, Alabama, and in Columbia, South Carolina. And hey, you know who has jumped into the top 5 is Orlando, Florida. Don't know who we're talking to over there, but we appreciate all of you guys for.
Well, every trip I take to Disney World, I wear my WCE T-shirt everywhere I go.
There you go.
Multiple days in WCE gear.
And I only had one day in WCE gear, but I did have my Winning Cures Everything shirt, my purple one. So I wore my purple one out. Which, by the way, you can still get those, if I'm not mistaken, on the website. There's a store banner on there. You can click that, and you can go buy your own Winning Cures Everything shirt. So let's dive into some college football talk. That's what we do best. Dabo Swinney. And I know that you love talking about Dabo, Chris. He kind of went all in on Saturday during his press conference. He said that there needs to be a complete blow-up of college football. Let me give you some of the quotes here. He said, I think there's going to be a complete blow-up, especially in football, and there needs to be. I think eventually there will be some type of break and another division. Right now you've got everybody in one group, and it's not feasible. Alabama has different problems than Middle Tennessee, but we're trying to make them all the same, and it's just not. I think you'll have 40 or 50 teams and a commissioner, and here are the rules. He said the current system is a mess, and that it's hard to get anything accomplished as college athletics continue to evolve in the new world of the transfer portal and NIL. He said there's so much bureaucracy, and you can't get anything done in a real-time manner. It's frustrating. The communication is not good. The rules are outdated. Again, there have been a lot of positives when it comes to the scholarships, but you've got all these people voting on things, and it's not apples to apples. Now, he talked quite a bit about NIL, etc. He said basically, I'm against anything that devalues education. He said that's what I'm against. I am for anything that incentivizes education. People will come after me because I've always said that I'm against the professionalism of college athletes, and I am. Kids don't know what they don't know. It's a slippery slope if you professionalize college athletics, and now you've got salaries and taxes, and you can fire kids on the spot, and they've got to pay for their tuition, et cetera, et cetera. He's going in on the fact that there are no rules, and there's no guidance, and there's no nothing. And I will tell you this, I don't always agree with Dabo Swinney, and I don't even necessarily know that I agree with him here. I do appreciate that he is outspoken and is willing to tell you what he thinks. I don't think that his mindset will work in college football long term. His adaptability does not appear to be great. But him coming out and just laying all of this out there, I thought was somewhat impressive because we don't always hear from these college coaches exactly what they think about everything. But he went all in on this. I don't know if you saw it, but what are your thoughts on Dabo just kind of laying it down?
Well, first off, I'd like to know what his solution is then. So
Yeah.
I love when people criticize problems. This is what we have a lot in our world today, by the way. Everyone says, your idea sucks. But great. Give me your fucking idea. Oh, well, you don't have one, do you? You just think mine's bad. Yeah, well, we got an idea, and it's called the free market. We're going to let these kids make whatever they can make by whoever's going to pay them within reason, all right? We're not letting beer companies, which they're legally allowed to drink. I don't know why they can't. We're not letting tobacco companies. We're going to put some morals around this thing. But we're going to let them make whatever they can make off of their name, image, and likeness, just like you have for decades as the coach. So if you would like to put some restrictions, some regulations on that, I'd like to know what they are and why you want them. Okay? I would like to know what scares you about this. If the idea that an 18-year-old now is going to get $40,000 and then they're going to have to pay taxes, well, goddamn, that's the world we live in, isn't it? When you make money, you got to pay taxes. Don't fight the 18-year-old or take the 40 G's out of his pocket. Call your congressman and tell him, I don't want to pay taxes anymore. Do some shit.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
Don't just take it from these kids and say, oh, well, one of them's going to get screwed up. They're going to get all this money. And you know what? They're going to piss it all away. Well, okay. All right. Were you not young and what? Did you not? What I would like to know what you did with your first $1 million that you made. All right. You live in a fucking castle in South Carolina. All right. You don't think that's pissing away your money? No one wants your damn castle.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm curious if maybe what happened with DJU maybe made him feel this way. I think he already thought about it because he is somebody that had to kind of work his way up. I'm curious because you remember DJ Uiagalelei had a bunch of different NIL offers, and when he signed a deal with Dr. Pepper, and he signed like all these other things, and he ended up making quite a bit of money, and he did not play well last year. And I wonder if maybe he is thinking that the NIL stuff got to his head, or what may have caused that. It may have put additional stress on a college student that Dabo didn't feel needed to be there. I'm wondering if that is it. I'm wondering if it has to do, because Lane Kiffin has talked about the NIL stuff as far as recruiting goes. Dabo did say in here basically that he is okay with the kids using it when they get their platform, when they get to school, not as an inducement to sign with a school, which we all knew it's not supposed to be that. It's not supposed to be for recruiting inducement, but I see where he's coming from on some of this. Again, I don't agree with everything that he's saying, but I'm wondering if maybe his experience with it, because his quarterback did not go out and perform up to expectations after getting all that money. I wonder if maybe that's skewing it a little bit.
All right, so here's the problem that I've got with that. My biggest issue is
Okay.
Your quarterback didn't handle it well, but Bryce Young seemed to handle it plenty good. So why we got to take money out of Bryce Young's mouth when your quarterback couldn't make it? So Bryce has got to go broke?
Well, even what he's talking about, it still wouldn't necessarily play into the DJ thing, right? Because DJ was already on campus, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on that, because why are we going to limit it when some kids can obviously handle it and others can't? This does kind of give the NFL an idea of who can perform under pressure when they are professionals and who can't, because we have seen that wreck players going into the league numerous times, right? I think about Trent Richardson, Ryan Leaf.
Just because it screws somebody up doesn't mean it's bad for everybody. Those people, it just didn't work for. They couldn't handle that pressure. They couldn't handle that stress. Okay, but that's just nobody's making good arguments for why this is bad. And all the arguments people are making all stem from, and let me tell you what I see, okay? And you know me. I'm not a level-headed guy. I'm a very passionate guy, and I get extreme one way or the other. But I see a lot of old white guys that are really upset that a bunch of young black guys are about to make a lot of money. And they're really upset that they might do some dumb shit with that money. And I think, who cares? Why are you worried about it? Listen, how does this offend your sensibilities? How are you so delicate?
I've never understood the people that worry about what other people do with their money, right?
No. I didn't get that gene of being jealous. I really didn't growing up. It's just, look, I've got a million flaws that are my own. But jealousy damn sure ain't one of them, man. It's like that little saying that we teach our kids all the time. It's you only look at somebody else's plate to make sure they have enough. But you don't look at somebody else and say, well, they got more than me, and get all mad and pissed off. I don't care. I don't care what they have, and I really don't care what they do with it. You know, I see the people in our society. Your Bezoses or whatever, and he's buying yachts so big they got to take bridges down, and there are people that are offended by it. Okay, I could think that guy's a prick, but also understand that I don't give a shit. That's not going to change my day. I don't care.
No.
I refuse to let what somebody else has upset me.
Now you go out and you work and you do your best to get what you can to make sure that you take care of the people that depend on you. I think that's the biggest thing.
All I want is the people who are against this stuff to give me an argument. Let's show up at the table with our ideas. Okay, I have my idea, which is let the kid do whatever the hell we would let anyone else do in this situation. Okay, if he didn't play football and he cured cancer, would we say that he can't profit from that? Okay, now I know that he didn't cure cancer; he just won national titles. But when you cure cancer, you generate trillions of dollars for some company. He should get a piece of that. Well, they generate billions of dollars for all of these companies. I think this kid should get a piece of that.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk about it from something a little less big, right? Let's talk Taylor Swift, right? This is, and I forget who used this example, but if Taylor Swift were required to stay in Vanderbilt choir for 3 years before she could be paid, I mean, how ridiculous is that? She releases a hit record and can't do anything with it? What are we talking about? So I see where you're coming from. This kind of ties into this. There was another story that came out, I believe, on Monday morning. And this was basically two Texas University leaders that are proposing that the state's programs break away from the NCAA and form their own athletics association. It is West Texas A&M's president and AD that are touting the potential move here. It's a big article on footballscoop.com. It's interesting. They have more than 40 FCS Division II and Division III programs that these two guys think would be better served if they broke away from the NCAA and formed their own statewide alliance. The quotes on this said, a strong Texas Athletic Association might provide positive leadership rather than reactive responses in intercollegiate athletics while driving a more significant economic impact to host communities and states alike. Basically, what they're talking about, I mean, there's 29 million people and 268,000 square miles of land in the state of Texas. Aside from the ones that are FBS, your Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, etc., aside from the FBS schools, there is over 40 in FCS D2 and D3. This kind of ties back into the realignment stuff that you and I were talking about, where if you're not the biggest of the big boys, if you're not making a ton of money, wouldn't it make more sense for these conferences to become way more regionalized and not spend all the money to be flying over to Boise, Idaho, and wherever else all the time, right? You kind of agree with this?
Yeah, look, anything to take away from the NCAA, I think they're a terrorist organization. So.
Well, I mean, you and I both know that the NCAA will not still be in its current form within a year and a half or 2 years. They are going to do something different. And what Dabo was talking about just a little bit ago about college football blowing up and probably having 40 or 50 big-time programs that are in their own division. I believe that's going to happen. Like, it will happen eventually. Now, how long that takes, who knows? But when that does happen, why on earth would these other ones not just drop out? Why would they keep the NCAA around when they can create their own thing, go by their own rules, and keep everything kind of in-house? Make it easier to travel, right? Like, this all makes sense.
Well, it's also, why are we giving a cut to these people? What do they do? That's all I ask. That's the biggest question that I would ask if I was the NCAA or the schools that are around the NCAA right now is this: what does the NCAA do for you for the money that they charge you?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, the only thing anybody really points at is the tournaments, right? Like your NCAA men's basketball tournament, the women's tournament. Schools get points off that. You make money off of the TV contract, whatever. But, I mean, if you're doing it in-state or even just in a smaller conference, you can do that with your own conference tournament. Everybody goes to the open market, sells their own stuff.
Hang on. We all, everybody who knows how to look at this stuff and evaluate it from a cost perspective would say that the NCAA signed one of the worst contracts with Turner that's ever been signed in the history of sports.
Yeah.
So if this is what you do, if this is what you're supposed to do for us, and you're this bad at it, then why should we let you do anything for us?
Yes. I'm with you. I'm 100%.
So if that's what they do, then we got a problem.
Yeah. Yes, we do. I'm curious to see what else will come from this because, again, it's only the president and the AD at West Texas A&M. But we'll see if other people get on board with this. You know, it'll take a little while for it to actually happen. You got to have some contracts run out or you got to buy them out one way or the other. But it would not surprise me to see more of this going on, to see other states and other regions kind of doing the same thing because people don't feel like they are getting from the NCAA and from the current setup what they could be getting just doing it on their own. And I do not disagree with them. Moving on from there.
But hang on. That kind of thing, Gary, is happening in every field, in every business, in every industry. I mean, look at marketing, look at media. You know, we are little if you're nobodies, but like there are people that are somebodies that are leaving huge networks to go work for themselves.
Yeah.
Because why? Because I'm the talent. Why would I give a network any cut of this?
Hey, you are not wrong.
And that's a valid question that needs to be asked. These schools need to be asking, why are we giving the NCAA any cut of this? And right now, the only reason is because of bribery, just because of the lobby. That's it.
Well, I mean, look at Dan
we're friends
Lebitard.
With the people that run the NCAA.
Yeah, look at Dan Lebitard. Look at Pat McAfee. All guys that are leaving lucrative deals elsewhere and just doing their own thing and making buckets of cash because they have built audiences. In Texas, you got an audience. So why would you share that audience with Oklahoma or with Arizona or with whatever state? It's curious, right? So on the other side of NIL, we do have some interesting news from a player perspective. Sean Clifford, the Penn State quarterback, is starting his own agency. He is launching Limitless NIL, and this dude has already signed 7 athletes, and he's got 5 employees already. The story here from Pete Thamel says he's launching his agency this week to represent college athletes and help them maximize their opportunities under the NCAA's new NIL legislation. Clifford is 23, entering his 6th year at Penn State, his 4th year as the Nittany Lions starting quarterback, and he has already assembled a team of 5 employees, which is the first agency founded by a student athlete to help others with NIL. So at least the one that has gotten off the ground. So it's 7 college athletes from 3 different colleges. He filed the paperwork. Everything is good to go. He said, it's the agency that I was looking for that I couldn't find. It's for the players, by the players. I wanted to do something to leave even more of a legacy than just on the field, and I thought this was kind of the way that I wanted to go. I think it's genius. Like it's absolutely genius. The players that have signed with him, by the way, Penn State star safety Jair Brown from Penn State, and then Penn State women's basketball player Anna Camden, Kentucky tight end Brendan Bates. He's got some dudes. So, I mean, he's got a custom pizza at Snap Custom Pizza in State College. He's got, I mean, just all kind of stuff that he's already setting up. And I'm curious if we're not going to see more of this. Like, this is the kind of thing that you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Like, they did it on talent representation, brand and content creation, and financial literacy. So he said they've got access to financial advisors. And this is cool. I love this.
Well, it's funny because those same coaches that were just saying, these kids, they can't be trusted. You know, we're going to give them all this money and they're going to do dumb shit with it. And how dare we trust them with this much money? This guy is able to take his resources, take the money that he's been given, and start a business with it, and seems to be doing well enough to where other people trust him with their business. And it just we underestimate what young people are capable of. God, I feel like an old son of a bitch saying that. Jesus Christ. but I am. And I remember when I was that age. And I did some dumb things, but I also remember being underestimated by every person that I ever wanted to give me a chance. Yeah. And I think that's why I go so hard after the NCAA and so hard after these people that I'm just so against it, is because when I was younger, I had opportunity, and all I needed was somebody to allow me to do it. I wouldn't say I had opportunity. I had the ability to do some things.
But just didn't have the opportunities.
There were people standing in my way, gatekeepers standing in my way, and it really bothers me. And today, I'm almost 40, and it bothers me. It really bothers me. I don't like people standing in the way of other people without a logical reason. I need a reason why you're putting a gate up around these kids. I need a reason.
Clifford did say all the athletes that sign with us get private wealth management the same way that a multimillionaire would, even if they have nothing in their bank account. He said, so it's a really cool financial education. This is the kind of stuff that really you and I have been harping on since we started this show, is teaching these kids what to do with the money when they get it. And nobody seems to want to do that or have any interest in doing it. And the kids have kind of taken it into their own hands and say, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And once I figure it out, I'm going to go help out as many other people as I can. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm not, the difference is I'm not afraid of people making mistakes with their money. Like, you know, what's the worst thing that can happen if a kid makes a couple $100,000 in college and then pisses it all away? I mean, seriously, what's the worst thing that can happen?
They just have to go out and make more. Yeah.
They were broke and now they're broke again.
It's all the same stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's anything that we can't undo.
Yeah. Yeah. I am with you. Real quick, spring game roundup. Did you watch any of the spring football on Saturday?
Not watch the spring football. Not watch the spring football, Gary.
I didn't figure you did. Quick notes, Nebraska drew 54,000. It looks like Casey Thompson is set to be their QB1. Nebraska has not had a winning season since 2016 and yet still drew 54,000. Chubba Purdy played most of the snaps at quarterback, but I think Casey Thompson is still kind of slated to be the guy. Florida State, they drew 30,000. It's pretty nice considering they haven't had a winning season since 2016, I believe, same as Nebraska. But what I noticed from watching them yesterday, because I went back on the DVR and had to check it out, they still don't have the hosses that Norvell is used to. Like, his offense is completely different down there than what he ran at Memphis. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. And then Auburn. Auburn is going to run the absolute wheels off of Tank Bixby. They were throwing him the ball. They were handing him the ball. They were doing anything they could to get him the football. He is the guy for Auburn. I don't know what they're going to look like in the fall, but in the spring game, they just ran him into the ground, it looked like. So I'm expecting a lot from Tank Bixby this year as far as numbers go. He'll be doing his thing. To wrap up, did you see Lane Kiffin's tweets over the weekend?
Well, yeah, I shared it with you and the boys.
That's okay. So the prom pictures, we got to figure out. Like, so he did take the one with the girls, and that's the one that obviously made the rounds. He was talking about Happy Prom Neighborhood, and I'm assuming that it is all of the neighborhood kids that live around him and whatnot. They all came over to take a picture at Coach Kiffin's house, next to the pool. But doing the one with all of the girls and then doing one with all of the guys, what do you think is going on there? Like, why split them up, one, and two, why are we – do you think the kids requested this? Or do you think Kiffin requested this?
Wait, you're asking the wrong question. You're asking the wrong question.
Okay, enlighten me. I would love to know because I could not figure this out.
Why is he in the picture?
Well, yeah. Why is he in the? That's what I'm saying.
So you're going to his. No, you're going to his house. That's fine. You want to take a picture in front of his pool? That's fine.
Wait, did they do prom at his house?
I have no idea. I'm telling you, they went to his house to take pictures, and he was in the pictures. I've been around a lot of weird things in my life. I've never once. Listen, I went to 3 different proms. Pretty lucky. All right, I know you look at this face and think no chance, but man, I got skills. Okay, I never once took a single picture with a single parent at all. Not even my dating parent. Now, I understand that it is normal for most couples to take pictures with mom and dad and people. That's normal and that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. For everyone in the neighborhood to be taking pictures with Wayne,
it's
weird.
Yeah, it's weird because none of those are his kids. Like
none of those are his kids.
It's Oxford High School prom, and unless they took the picture at his house because the prom was at his house, which would really be weird.
No,
I couldn't figure it out.
No, I don't. Hang on, I'm okay.
Chris's call failed right when he was getting into the good stuff. That is interesting. Here, we'll try and call him back. We'll see if we can get him in. But
thanks for calling, Chris. Sorry,
nope.
I couldn't get to my phone.
Either his phone died or I don't know what. But either way, it was strange. It was certainly weird. Chris, have we got you back? He didn't come through. Hold on. Let's see. All right, we got you on the roadcaster now.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It said call
no
failed.
idea what happened.
All right, so into Lane Kiffin, we're wrapping this thing up, but yeah, it's.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you're taking pictures of kids, like with all of the kids.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who's pretty well off in the Cleveland area, and like I know that like he hosted prom, like while his kids like did it or whatever, because he's got a beautiful little estate area. And that was a thing that they did. That's great. But he didn't gather everybody around him and take pictures with them. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I mean, it's all over the place, but nobody has figured out the story.
I know why he did it. I think he did it as a goof. Like, I think he knows how this looks.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he did it strictly just to be silly.
I'm just curious how he got everybody to get in on it, right?
What do you mean? Hey, everybody, get around and let's take a picture. It's nothing hard.
I'm with you. I don't know. I'm looking at it. What I'm trying to figure out, the prom has got to be close to his house because, one, I don't think everybody's going to drive over to Coach Kiffin's house to go and take a picture for a goof, right?
No.
So this has got to be.
They went to his house to do like a shoot.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be it, and this was just so weird.
But him being in the pictures is not. I don't know. Okay, me and you we're confused by two different things.
Well, no, I think we're confused by a lot of different things. Like I'm with you, like on him being in the picture, right? It's weird. It's also weird that the picture even exists. Like, why? What is his relationship to this Oxford high school prom? Like, have you ever seen any other college head coach deal with the prom that's at the high school where their school is located?
I mean, I do think that his kids might go there. Like, there's a chance. Like, he's got high school kids, right?
I don't think so. I think Knox is, but they're living with Layla or whatever her name is over in California. Like, he doesn't have his kids full time, so it's weird.
I don't have an answer.
I love it though.
I do think it's weird. I do think it's weird. That's true. The joke that I put out there, and I'm saying this as I'm almost 100% positive. Would bet anything is a joke, okay? But my joke was the line. They were all my daughter's friends. I promise it's going to hold up in court.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Ay. All right. Is there anything else that you feel like we need to hit on?
No.
All right. Let's go on.
We've exhausted the amount of things necessary for today.
I think you're right. All right. I'm going to let you go and I'm going to wrap it up.
Bye.
Later. All right. So that is going to wrap up Winning Cures Everything for today. Again, episode 951 on Monday, April the 11th. Not too shabby. We are continuing on doing the damn thing. You guys have been fantastic. Again, go to the website, go to the podcast, go to YouTube, etc. Make sure that you are subscribed where you need to be subscribed. And if you need anything, you can always reach out to us on Twitter as well. With that said, you guys take care of yourself, take care of each other, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review,